they did in spring training. They're going to reach down and say, look, screw all that.
Hanging breaking ball, lifted out to left. Going back on it is Marsh at the track, at the wall. We're tied!
When you get to this time in your life, your existence, to be laying on a champagne-soaked carpet is the top dog. That's it. That's the best.
And the right-hander deals again. This one is hit to right in the corner. It is a fair ball. This is going to be at least 2. It could be 3. The throw. He's in there.
We've established the winning culture here, and it's pretty evident.
And a base hit into right. That's your ball game. And the night the Brewers clinch the National League Central, they walk off the Philadelphia Phillies. My goodness, these guys are so
party till midnight. And then remember, you've got to decide, make the choice that you're going to believe that there's a reason this group ended up first place, wire to wire.
Come see what's brewing. Come see what the good times are. Come see what the Brewers are doing. Come on and cheer a superstar. Be a believer in Brewer fever. It's fun to join in the cheering. Stomp your feet.
attitude I like.
We are having a great time. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, as the sun is coming up, sitting in the parking lot at American Family Field. Unbelievable the amount of people that have come through for the drive-through pep rally, where people will be given a QR code for special access for playoff tickets before they go on sale at 10 a.m. today. But you get a brat, you get a T-shirt. Tarek Saleh's here, Donald Driver here, and of course, the Hall of Famer Robin Yount here joining us on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Good morning, Robin.
Yeah, good morning. It's good to be here.
Unbelievable that. Are you shocked that this amount of people are coming through before the sun comes up to eat a brat this early?
I am not. This is Milwaukee. Brats in the morning, playoffs ahead of us. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest. You know, this is why we love Milwaukee. You know, the enthusiasm for for what we got coming up, and I'm as excited as they are. Although I feel like I should be in a tree stand or something this early in the morning. but no, this is great. I mean, like I said, it's not surprising.
Robin, how you doing? Chewy here.
Hey, Chewy.
How you doing? How important is it for them to get that first round bye?
I think it's very unimportant, actually. If it was me, I'd rather not have it. Baseball is meant to be played every day, and if you notice the playoffs last year, all the division winners that had byes all lost in the first round. Well, I think Houston might have got through the first round and lost in the second. I don't really see it as an advantage to get that first round bye. Obviously, it means the first playoff round against a wild card you got to win, but I still think you're better off playing than sitting.
Talking with Robin Yount, Brewers pep rally, drive-through pep rally going on, swing by in the parking lots at American Family Field. Jackson Chourio has been so good this year, and there are only a handful of people that truly understand what he's going through. You're one of them, playing at that young of an age at in Major League Baseball. How difficult is it to do what he has done this year?
Well, he's in a totally different situation than I was. You know, the Brewers have been competitive for a while now, and I think when the season starts nowadays, you're realistically thinking about making the playoffs. And when I started, we didn't even consider being in playoffs at that time. You know, I was that 18-year-old kid they could throw out there and see what happens, because it was much more difficult to win a division back then. Plus, we didn't have the talent to win a division in those days, in the early 70s. But he has proven that, he's far and above beyond where I was at that same age. And he's going to get an opportunity to show a lot of people that when he gets into the playoffs. his game is far more mature than mine was, and he seems like, I met him yesterday for the first time, he seems like the whole major league thing doesn't affect him all that much. You know, younger players today in all sports, it just seems like they come up with this, you know, with this confidence from, I don't know where it comes from, because I know I sure didn't have it, but they come up ready to go and think they're ready to take on the world, and I don't think that Jackson feels any different. He's going to do just fine.
Robin, I want to bring you back to 1982, because this whole year we talked about expectations for this team and how the national pundits got it so wrong. You know, no one was picking the Brewers to do anything.
Imagine that.
Yeah. What was the expectations back in 1982 for that team?
Well, we expected to compete, because the year before it was our first round of playoffs. We had never had a playoff round in as a Brewer team before 81, and when we finally experienced that playoff series with the Yankees, it was the first time we went to spring training honestly believing we should be able to get a playoff spot in those days if we played the way we were capable of. So in saying that, we had a good feeling going into that year.
Talking with Robin Yount, all part of the Brewers drive-through pep rally happening at American Family Field. Come on by, get your brat, get your flag, get your QR code to get early access to postseason tickets. You mentioned 1982, so let's talk about the documentary that is out right now in Marcus Theaters. What was it like to participate, and what did you think of the final product?
It's very challenging for me to watch. I saw it in its early stage, and obviously it brought back a lot of great memories, but it also, you know, the ending is heartbreaking. You know, it's hard. So I was involved in my part of it, and I'm glad it's over.
Robin, you hear in football all the time that when you get to the playoffs, the game speeds up. And I go back to 93 when I was a youngster and we made the playoffs. As a young guy, you really don't believe it until you're in it and you figure it out. What's different for a young player between the regular season and the playoffs when it comes to baseball?
Well, I think everything is just amped up. It's, you know, during the regular season, your hometown is focused on you. When you make the playoffs, the whole country's focused on you. So you know, the stakes are much higher, you know. And let's face it, the biggest challenge the Brewers are going to have is they have not had to play real meaningful games. They've had such a good season, and they've been so far ahead for a long time now. That's the challenge, I think, is getting, you know, from the regular season games that you didn't really have to play your way into it. You've just, you know, 162 games. You would think somewhere along the line you'd have big games, and I'm sure they felt that for certain series. But when you're going down the stretch in a pennant race is usually the start of feeling some playoff pressure, and we really haven't experienced much of that. So hopefully they can turn it up. We've got some guys on the team that have played in the playoffs because we're making the playoffs regularly now. It seems like more often, way more often than when I played. But it'll be a chance. That first game, I guarantee you, there'll be nerves, but they'll be on both sides.
Robin, when we talk about, you know, the rule changes in baseball, how beneficial have they been to the Brewers? Because I feel without the rule changes and allowing for a little more aggressiveness on the base paths, I don't know if this team it's good. I don't know if it's as successful because of how aggressive and how much Murph really lets these guys run.
Well, I think what you're seeing is the last couple of years, we're starting to play baseball again. And I don't mean just the Brewers. I think the overall game itself, you know, it seemed like for the last number of years, it's been a lot of home run derby going on, and, you know, where strikeouts weren't a big deal, and, you know, it was as long as you hit your home runs. And I think we were putting a pretty boring product out there, in my opinion. But what I've watched the last couple of years, it looks like the game is coming back to playing baseball. You know, you're doing all the things that it takes to win games instead of just standing around waiting for home runs. And for me, that's the greatest thing that I think can happen, because I just think the game was getting sidetracked there with all the home runs, or the focus on home runs. And now, you know, it's much more entertaining in my mind, and fortunately the Brewers are one of the teams that plays that way.
Robin, do you think all the rule changes has made the game better?
I don't know. I don't know if they've sped up the pitchers. I know that, but you know, I don't know if it was the rule changes. We were playing this kind of game before those rules, so you know, I think the game will take care of itself. We don't need. It's worked for 100 and some odd years this way. I don't know that making a base bigger is going to change the way the game's played. It's kind of, some of it's a little silly in my mind, but you know what? The game to me looks like it's much better brand of baseball.
I know you're close with Bud Selig. What has he meant? Because I always think anytime they have these big moments, you know, whether it's, you know, 20 years ago when this stadium was built and now all the success that they've had, what has Bud meant to the city of Milwaukee in baseball? Well,
he is the Brewers. He brought the Brewers back to Milwaukee. Not back. They weren't, obviously they were the Braves originally, but he got baseball back to Milwaukee, I should say. Maybe somebody else might have done it, but he was determined when the Braves left to someday get a team back in Milwaukee, and he's the one that stepped up and did it. And obviously, it's worked tremendously. The city, without baseball, I don't think it wouldn't be the same. And you can credit him for bringing it back.
Will you and the guys you played would share in this? Because I go back, Robin, to '96 when we were playing in Super Bowl 31, and Ray Nitschke was around, and Jerry Kramer, and Bart Starr, and they were there, you know, telling us how big it would be to win a Super Bowl. Do you and the guys you played with kind of share in that same sentiment?
Absolutely. You know, our numbers getting up there pretty high since when the Brewers have not won a World Series yet. We need a world championship here in Milwaukee. I'd like to see it before I'm gone. So I hope the time is now, because we've waited long enough.
Robin, thank you so much for the time. Thanks for coming out to this thing.
Yeah, how about it?
Like you said, I mean, usually this early in the morning you're probably in a tree stand, but instead you're in a parking lot handing out T-shirts, handing out brats, man.
Yeah, but this is Milwaukee. You know, this is it. The people are excited. Best fans you'd ever want to, you know, play in front of, and they're real, and this proves it.
Robin Yount, Baseball Hall of Famer, joining us here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. More reaction, plus the Packers playing this weekend, all coming up next on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Starting off with a little bit of a backup on westbound 94 from about 27th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Westbound 894 a bit heavy as well from 27th Street to 68 through that construction zone. Otherwise, everything else is looking just fine. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Showers and early decreasing clouds, becoming sunny, warm, and a high of 84. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 60 at the lakefront, 55 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
This time of year can be really tough on a number of areas in your home. If you're struggling with any electrical issues, the superheroes at Current Electric are ready to help you. Chuck Smith is a Brookfield Central grad who started Current Electric over 40 years ago. His mission was to serve our community with integrity and quality. Whether it's as small as a switch repair or as large as rewiring your entire home to a generator to keep your lights on, or even interest in solar energy, call on the superheroes from Current Electric. Go to callcurrent.com. That's callcurrent.com.
Homer here to tell you about Rawhide Youth Services. Co-founded in 1965 by Bart and Cherry Starr, Rawhide is a faith-based nonprofit that helps thousands of youth every year, many right here in Milwaukee, overcome trauma, suicidal thoughts, and live better lives. For youth who are hurting, who feel lost or abandoned, and families feeling powerless to help them, Rawhide is there to help. They also need vehicle donations to support their mission of helping hurting youth transform their future. Donate to Rawhide Youth Services. Visit rawhide.org/donate.
Looking for a better used car interest rate? At Ewald, we make it easy to save thousands during the used car rate reduction event. Get rates as low as 4.9% on Ewald Automotive Group's best used cars. 4.9% on over 600 vehicles at 10 locations. Increase your purchase power with a better used car from the name Milwaukee has trusted for 60 years. Don't wait. Get a better rate. Available to very well qualified customers. Up to $20,000 financed for up to 48 months. See dealer for details. Offer expires month end.
Catholic Memorial Football takes the field for Friday Night Lights this week. It's the Crusaders on the road battling New Berlin West in a conference matchup to take on the Vikings.
Marvanis Butler-Brown gets the kickoff, and he's got room to run, and forget about it. The marvelous one.
Crusaders football is presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, R&R Insurance, Home Sealed Exteriors, and D&M Accounting and Consulting Service. Tune into the action Friday night starting at 6:30, exclusively streaming at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Hey, this is the Fat Jack, and football season is here. Are you ready to make some money? Have you bet on sports before? That probably did not go great. I can help you make money. Go to fatjacksports.com and get dialed in to turn a profit. The picks are emailed to you. They're on your personal portal on the website, and you can pay less than $50 a week for longer packages to make money betting this football season. Fatjacksports.com, the only place you need to go. 100% transparent, and will turn you profit this season at fatjacksports.com.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Look, you take Jesus and the presents out, and it's not even in the top 10.
Well, I mean, if you take sex out of the anniversary, then that's not that fun either.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Great when you can start off the show.
Always great when you can start off a show talking to a Hall of Famer. No offense to you, Chew. Like, I mean, you're a Packers Hall. You're like still a big deal, but he's got 3,000 hits. Yeah, like he's got 3,000. He's in the big Hall of Fame.
Well, I took 3,000 hits. Gabe is just to the head. Hence why I'm not out there.
There we go. There we go. Now we've got Roscoe sitting next to me. What's going on, bud? So many mascots hanging out here too. It's a great time.
I thought you were talking.
Mascots having a good time.
There's nothing better than a voiceless mascot joining a radio show. For those on YouTube,
yeah, we don't have a headset big enough for you, Roscoe. I'm sorry, bud. Yeah, it wouldn't be wide enough. You got a big dome there, bud. Yeah, it's just
use Ashton's headset.
Time.
Ashton's got a big head.
I've got mine up as much as possible.
Angie's
knocking into stuff. It's fine. I'm terrified right now that he's going to break something.
Angie is livid at you, by the way.
Me?
No,
or Ashton.
Ashton.
Oh,
she used the word.
Wow, Ashton,
she
you're
used
in
the word
trouble.
stupid.
Okay.
Oh.
There could be a lot of reasons for that. Is this an on-air discussion or an off-air discussion?
Whatever you want it to be, buddy.
I mean, it sounds like it turned into an on-air
She's like,
discussion.
did Ashton actually believe in a chaotic situation like that I was going to show up there?
Well, yeah, we shouldn't do that on the air.
Just put a
yeah, I did. I thought you would show up for Gabe. Yep, I did.
Yeah, well, that's funny because Chewy, I didn't expect.
Gabe,
when I had trouble
you
getting in here,
yesterday. I prepped
you gave me the
yesterday.
warning.
Yes.
I didn't get the warning.
Well, come on.
I need the secondary warning. At least I can have the warning in my brain.
How long have you been around Chewy now?
All I said to Gabe was, "This is it." As we're exiting the show yesterday, I said, "Gabe, you know what's going to happen."
Yep.
And he said, "Yes, I am aware."
And the second I had trouble getting in Chew, I knew it was over.
By the time I got to the second cop, and the second cop says, "You can't go that way," goodbye. See ya. So that's on you, Ash.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I'll take that blame. Goodbye, Chew.
Bye.
Seriously, the line to get in here, though, is insane.
It's insane.
I did not expect it to be what it was at 6. Here we are almost an hour and a half later. It's going until 9. People are having a great time coming through, again, getting an opportunity for a QR code that gets you special access before 10 a.m. when tickets go on sale to the general public. You can meet our guy, Tarek Salah's out here, handing out T-shirts, handing out brats. A lot of good things happen out here, big guy.
Does Tarek have a beer in his hand already? At 7?
He does not. No, he does not.
7:20?
I don't know if that's
Okay.
the one thing that I don't see at 7:20 a.m. I do not see any beers in anybody's hands. But Tarek's handing out T-shirts. He's a member of the Bachelor's Hall of Fame now. Lots of good stuff happening out here. Meanwhile, we were just talking with Robin Yount about rule changes, Chew, and I want to get your take on this because this was wild to me. And I don't know if Mel Kiper Jr. is just kind of seeing the rule changes in baseball and how they have been beneficial, because I do think they have been beneficial, Chew, for the Brewers and for baseball, because the game, like Robin said, they're getting back to playing baseball the way people like it, and it's I don't think it's going to get back to the popularity it was when Robin was playing, but I think it makes the game more exciting, it makes the game go faster. But through 2 weeks, we talked about this earlier in the week, passing touchdowns are way down. 69 passing touchdowns through 2 weeks, way down from just even 2020 and 2010, or 2020 and 2021 when they threw for 110 touchdown passes as a league. Here is Mel Kiper Jr. yesterday on ESPN with a wild idea for a rule change for the NFL.
Of the National Football League, 60s, 70s, into the 80s, you're talking about deep shots, right? The go route, the 9-route post. You're talking about Terry Bradshaw in a Super Bowl hitting John Stallworth. You see Leroy Irvin diving, right, just off his fingertips. There's the receiver. They laid it out there, right? Hit the receiver in stride. 65-yard touchdown. It's a beautiful thing to watch. That's what I want to see brought back to the National Football League. Okay? Check down kings, bubble screen sensations, boring football. Game manager, I get it, but I want to see those deep shots. That's what the NFL was built on. I grew up with John Unitas, Fran Tarkington, Ken Stabler, Darryl LaMonica. You talk about quarterbacks, Joe Namath. It was just right. Brett Favre when he was doing what he did. Burt Jones with the Baltimore Colts. You think about those quarterbacks that would throw the ball down the field. I said what Bradshaw did with Stallworth and Swan, Roger Staubach. That's what I want to see brought back. Say, well, you can't do that, right? Well, you got a 5-yard rule with the quarterbacks, right? The Mel Blount rule, right? Now with the push thing with Hurts, you got to be a yard back now. So don't tell me you can't have those safeties closer to the line of scrimmage than they are. I was at games where I'm thinking, hey, too high? They're out in outer space. I couldn't even find us, and they're playing with 9 guys, right? Where are the other 2? Oh, the other 2, they're so daggone far back, and even though they're part of the damn play. I'm telling you, we got to change this thing, and we got to have, hey, you can warn them. They come up, hey, guys, you got to get up a little bit, right? You're too far back. Warn those safeties, but you got to figure out, competition committee, somebody's got to figure out what that depth is, but it's too far back right now. The NFL is being ruined by these too high safeties.
Chew, your thoughts when you hear Mel Kiper Jr. saying the NFL is being, and I quote, ruined by too high safeties. And I love Mel. Mel's my guy. This is an insane idea to me.
I was just going to echo that. I love Mel, but Mel, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Do the draft. Do your whole thing there. But when it comes to X's and O's, don't talk X's and O's. It's so stupid. And it's dumb from the standpoint of now the game has changed. It's changed. So the problem is this. When you see a flag downfield and you know it's pass interference, 9 times out of 10 it's on who?
Defense.
The defense. This game is already skewed enough to where the defense is at such a disadvantage, and it gets worse and worse every year. I mean, even with this rule change, I know it's for safety, which I really don't think the NFL gives a crap about, with the hip drop tackle. That's another detractor for the defense, which makes it more difficult for them. Cover 2 is a part of the game, all right? This is strategy. This isn't Tecmo Bowl. This isn't Madden, okay? This is football. You want to play cover 2? Run the ball. Running the ball against cover 2 is the best defense you could have in order to run the ball. So I think it's just completely asinine. It's just a bad. I think it's a clickbait thing. is what it is.
I do appreciate the impassioned speech, though. And,
I do, too.
And the throwbacks
Yes.
to some of the names I didn't even recognize.
Yes.
That's just a classic old man rant. But, like, what are you going to do? Tell those guys they can only be 15 yards back? And it's like, okay, what are they supposed to do about Tyreek Hill? Just let him score?
I know, exactly. But there's things.
Yeah,
there's
according
things
to Mel, yes, that's what you're supposed to do.
I mean, there's enough scoring. I mean, I know scoring is down, but it's not a product of cover 2. It's a product of they don't do anything in the preseason. And it takes time. All offenses are based upon timing. And it takes them a while to get the timing down. That's why I anticipate by week 7 or 8, the touchdowns will be the same as they were last year at that period. It's just that they don't practice enough. The players didn't want it. That was one of the big things they wanted in their negotiations in the CBA. It's just the way it is. You can't snap a finger and be like, oh, we're dialed in. It takes time.
I think there's a couple things, and Mel even kind of touched on it. Like, football to me, too, like this is probably true of any sport, like there's going to be a cyclical nature of once you start leaning too far one way, it only makes sense to kind of pivot back to the other way. And what I mean by that is, okay, we're trying to get, everyone wants to throw. So defenses are getting lighter. Defensive backs are getting faster. Defenses are being designed to stop these big pass plays. You know what works against small defenses?
Yeah. Run the ball.
Big backs who can run the football.
Absolutely.
And I think it's just kind of, we're going to go through that cycle. And I understand that everybody loves throwing, the big plays are certainly a big attraction. But I think what we've proven over the last 30, 40 years, the NFL's not going anywhere.
No.
Like, if they just start running the ball a little bit more, people aren't going to stop watching. You're telling me Lambeau Field isn't going to sell out because Josh Jacobs has 3 touchdowns instead of Jordan Love throwing for 3 touchdowns?
No, and I think outside of the quarterback, the second most important position, and they're probably the best athletes on the field, are defensive backs. I mean, would you rather have a lockdown, the best cornerback in the league, or the best pass rusher?
I personally would rather have the best pass rusher.
I personally would rather have the best DB. Because then you don't have to worry. With a pass rusher, Gabe, you can always chip him. You can always give him help. When you're a receiver and you're really good, you're out in a DB. You're out on an island. You really don't have any help. Like Dion back in the day.
Yeah.
And I've told this story many a times. Poor Robert, because Robert was our number 1 receiver for all those years. We played Dallas. Holmgren wouldn't even call plays for him. It was 10-on-10 football.
Okay, that's interesting, because I was going to bring up T.J. Watt, but you brought up Dion, so we'll keep it in your era. Who would you have rather played with, Dion or Reggie? Because, Reggie's the best pass rusher of all time. Dion's the best corner of all time. Which one would you have rather had, and which one would you have rather played with?
I mean, I would, from a X's and O's standpoint, I'd rather have Dion, because just like I said, you can always block Reggie with a tight end and a tackle, You can always
I just feel that
when you shrink the field, when you shrink the field because you have a dominant defensive back, that's a great card to have in
the one thing I think
the deck.
Is different now, though, is offenses are a lot more better at, like Devontae Adams with Matt LaFleur. They moved him all around the formation. You think of like CeeDee Lamb. That guy plays the slot like half of the time, and unless the guy's going to follow him there, I think it's still an advantage to have that pass rusher. Because you can, teams have used to do it to Jair, where they just don't put their best receiver out there. They just say, here's MVS, have fun.
Yeah, but when and this is important, and I know people like to poo-poo this, but what rules are you playing under? Are you playing under 1995 rules, or are you playing under 2024 rules?
Yeah, I was thinking like in modern NFL.
In modern, yeah, it's probably changed, but I remember these game plans. It was just like, Robert, just go line up as far as you can to the right and don't do anything.
Put your toes on the sideline.
It didn't work for the Packers in 14, but when they played the Seattle Seahawks, I remember this very vividly. They played the Seahawks to kick off the season, and Richard Sherman didn't travel. They just kept him on that one side. their game plan was, we're going to put Jarrett Boykin over there and forget that side of the field and then try to work the other half of the field with Jordy and Randall Cobb. It did not end up working, and they basically, sacrificed Jarrett Boykin's career because he didn't do anything after that. I think he was just kind of ruined. But to Chewy's point, teams have tried to do that where they're like, okay, he's so good. But in today's NFL, the best defensive players, the ones who get paid the most, the ones who are winning Defensive Player of the Year, are those pass rushers. It's T.J. Watt. It's Myles Garrett.
Sure, but like I said, you can do things to address that. When you have the best receiver, and I don't think, it's years ago, but I don't think people give Deion the credit he deserves. He's hands down. I mean, he was so good. I mean, he wasn't going to hit anybody or tackle anybody, but
Chewy, he was so good, it didn't matter.
Yeah, no,
that's
right.
how good he was.
Yeah,
that's how good he was.
Corners also have that weird thing happen where you're so good that you kind of forget you're over there. Because, Darrelle Revis was kind of forgotten about until people were finally starting to pay attention because they don't throw the ball his way.
Yeah,
there's no interest.
Well, that was the big knock on him. He doesn't get enough interceptions. Why are you paying him that much money? Well, because he just kind of eliminates that side of the field. No one throws it. Hard to get interceptions if nobody throws your way. And I'm sure Deion was the exact same way. And yet, when you did throw at him, he still made the plays and was able to take advantage of it. It's fascinating. We'll ask Craig Karmazin certainly about this as we continue on here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Again, I am hanging out live in the parking lot at American Family Field, encouraging you to come through, maybe on your way to work. Line looks like it's dying down just a little bit. It's starting to get to the end of the parking lot, but a steady flow of cars for their drive-through tailgate. Get your flag, get your T-shirts, get your, I think they've got some towels maybe. They're giving away a lot of stuff, including brats. And then, more importantly, an opportunity to get a QR code for your chance at some Brewers Place postseason tickets, where you can purchase those before the general public is able to do so later today at 10 a.m. If you're looking for a better used car interest rate, Ewald makes it easy to save thousands during the used car rate reduction event. Get rates as low as 4.9% on Ewald Automotive Group's best used cars, 4.9% on over 600 vehicles at 10 locations. Increase your purchase power with a better used car from the name Milwaukee has trusted for 60 years. Go to ewaldauto.com.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink.
Westbound 94 getting a little bit heavy there from about 25th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. The eastbound side now slowing down just east of 84th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange to about 35th. Westbound on 894, we're seeing delays from 27th Street all the way to about 68th. Southbound 43, not too bad, just starting to tighten up a little bit right past Capitol Drive. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, decreasing clouds, becoming sunny, warm, a high of 84. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 60 at the lakefront, 55 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 46 to 48-ounce selected varieties Blue Bunny frozen dairy dessert, $3.99. 45-ounce tub Imperial margarine, $3.99. 12-count Ice Mountain spring water, 2 for $7. 21.5 to 28-ounce selected varieties Bush's best baked beans, 2 for $5.
I am starving.
Oh no, never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh, oh, pizza, yes, I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
Need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against San Francisco November 24th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
I'm shopping at Century alone next time.
Enter by November 6th.
Gear up for October baseball. Brewers postseason tickets go on sale on September 20th. Clear your schedule, claim your spot, and be here for a Brewers postseason run you don't want to miss. at Brewers.com.
Hey, Milwaukee sports fans. It's Brad Nortman from Kyle Brust and Nortman. You've invested too much into that nice ride, so don't settle for a gas station car wash. Treat it to a Tsunami Express car wash. State-of-the-art wash technology, powerful free vacuums, and unlimited wash memberships. Now with 5 locations across Greater Milwaukee, Tsunami Express is your go-to spot for a flawless finish and a first-class car wash every time. Trust me, your car will thank you. Sign up for a membership online at TsunamiExpress.com and get your first wash free. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat.
Jen Latta here from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I have told you about the delicious pizza you can find at Proof Pizza inside St. Kate. Now there's even more to be excited about with new sandwiches on the menu. Available every day from 11 to 4, you can enjoy options like the turkey pesto, the meatball hero, the Italian hoagie, and more. Skip the same old lunch at your desk and grab a delicious sandwich from Proof instead. Order inside the restaurant or directly from the bar at St. Kate. Explore the new sandwiches and the rest of the menu at proofpizzamke.com.
Milwaukee College Prep, dedicated to closing the opportunity gap for children in Milwaukee, redefining what's educationally possible so more children can pursue their dreams. Join me, Good Karma Brand's founder CEO Craig Karmazin, and Milwaukee College Prep Thursday, October 17th, and take a stand in closing the opportunity gap for Milwaukee scholars. Your support means quality education accessible to over 2,000 scholars in Milwaukee's most challenged communities. Milwaukee College Prep is closing the opportunity gap. To learn more and purchase tickets, go to MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com and click support.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee. It's Friday, and that means it's time to check in with GKB President Craig Karmazin.
Gabe, you're right. I actually just looked at the stats. No hypocrite has ever won a championship.
Fridays with Mo.
Mark Attanasio, the last thing he wanted to do was play a video and tribute Craig Counsell in any way. So I give Mark Attanasio a ton of credit.
Craig Karmazin on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy is sponsored by Landworks Landscape Services. Their creative and talented team will design, build, enhance, and maintain beautiful landscapes in southeastern Wisconsin. Learn more and see their work at landworkswisconsin.com.
Always love catching up with Good Karma Brands founder, CEO Craig Karmazin on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy each and every Friday. Good morning, Craig.
So did my prank work?
What was your prank?
So I'm in New Jersey right now.
Oh, unfortunately.
And obviously, I wasn't at the Jets game last night, but I'm flying back to Milwaukee now. But I decided to mess with Chewy, and so I told all the security people, I told my Brewers people, mess with Chewy and don't let him in this morning when he tries to get in for the remote. So how did it end up working out?
Oh, it worked.
Nice.
It definitely worked. See, Craig even knew. He even knew. Because, Craig, I don't know if you were listening, but after yesterday's show,
Assuming he was.
I said, Gabe, you know what's going to happen tomorrow. And Gabe's like, yep, absolutely.
Yep. Chewy ends up not at the remote and in studio. Well, Gabe, I'm glad you were celebrating. One of the most unexpected things, I mean, I just had the money hit my ESPN bet account because I had bet on the Brewers to win the division.
Oh, what was the odds on that?
So I bet it at when they were 5-1, so it wasn't before the season, but it wasn't
okay.
But the
6 games in.
They still had the worst odds in the division. So it was plus 650, and I put $150. I won $1,000 on it. It was pretty awesome. And by the way, I also put in at the time $200 on them to win the National League. So that's going to pay off $8,000 if that comes in. That was 40-1. It's now down to 750-1.
Craig, did you listen to Robin in the first segment?
7.5. No, I didn't. I'm in New Jersey. I did not hear.
So, Gabe, I was a little surprised by his answer when I said, how important is it for him, or not for him, for the team to get the bye? And he said it's not at all. He's like, I would almost rather not get the bye because baseball's meant to be played every day. And that kind of put me at ease a little bit. Are you surprised by that?
I
answer,
am
Craig?
surprised, totally surprised, but it makes sense, and I love it, and it's kind of like what we have seen since these teams who've had the bye. Like, they haven't had, like, an advantage, which I think for most teams you'd say, hey, this is great. We could set up our pitching rotation, by having a little break. But I don't know if the Brewers, like, it even matters, like, to set up the pitching rotation. So I actually like that philosophy. And I've been someone who every day I'm, like, checking the Dodgers, checking the Phillies. But in actuality, I actually like that argument.
Gabe, were you surprised by that answer?
I was, but it was kind of an old school answer, He's an old school grinded out guy, and he's like, no, I want to play baseball every single day. And the point that he made about the Diamondbacks and the Rangers last year, they were teams that did not receive the bye, and they were the ones that ended up in the World Series. So, I mean, it is kind of scary, though, to go into that wild card round. I understand where Robin's coming from, but anything can happen in a 3-game series in baseball, right? Like, I keep going back.
I mean,
the A's just
especially
beat
how
the
hot
Cubs
the
out of
Mets
2 out of
are.
3.
I'm saying how hot the Mets are right now, but the Brewers have been so consistent throughout the year, and they're not relying on just one hitter where, like, if one person goes cold, like, I like the makeup of this team going into the postseason.
Oh, I love it. Like, this, I don't know if I've felt this way about a Brewers team probably since they went to the NLCS when they got so hot, beat the Cubs in game 163. Like, this team just feels different to me than, like, even last year, even though they won the division last year.
But guys, do we expect them to win?
Win what? The wild card round? Yes.
And the next round. I mean, because when you talk about, and I'll transition to the Bucks, Craig, when they play those first couple, you expect them to win.
Yeah, I don't think you could expect the Brewers to beat the Phillies or the Dodgers. I think it's possible, and I think they'll be competitive. But, I mean, this is like the Packers last year. It's
but
like
hold on,
the Packers
Craig.
against – yeah.
Do you expect them, if they do go to the wild card game, do you expect them to win one of those series and not two?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think you could equate it to the Packers last year, right? So the Packers had to go on the road and beat the Cowboys. So, like, if the Brewers win the 2 out of 3 wild card series, which I think is going to be 60-40 Brewers or 55-45, they should win, then they're going to be going to either Philly or LA, and that's the equivalent of going to San Francisco for the Packers and trying to beat the 49ers, which the Packers ended up having a chance. And I think that's what you expect for the Brewers if they are to win that wild card round and go to the second round.
What about this team makes you the most excited, Craig?
Jackson Churio and Jackson Churio and Jackson Churio. I mean,
Craig, I couldn't believe it when they pitched. I mean, again, last week they're in Arizona. They decide to walk the rain to get to Churio and immediately delivers a triple. Just triple down the line, no big deal. I couldn't believe they decided to pitch to him.
He's amazing. I mean, it was fun. It was obviously like you knew they'd do something like because he's not 21, so they had to bring out like the non-alcoholic stuff for him in the locker room. Because he's not. I mean, he's not even 21. Like, nope. And I mean, I think that's the first thing. And the second thing for me is that it just seems like there's a culture where like whoever comes in like expects to contribute, and they kind of know they need to, or there's gonna be someone else who can do it. Like, it's not like, oh wow, what a shock, we got a 2 for 3 out of this guy tonight. Like, there's just so many people who've contributed big hits and big moments over the course of this season that you just don't feel like it's. These two guys go cold, and like Jackson Churio struggles in the first 2 games at home in the wild card, they can still win. Like, I don't think they're reliant on any single player.
All right, Craig, how do you see Sunday at noon playing out? From Jordan Love playing to not playing to Malik starting. What's your gut telling you?
My gut is telling me it's going to look a lot like last night's game. That the Tennessee Titans have a really good defense, that Jordan Love will not be playing, that the Packers have very limited offense without him, and that the Titans will protect the ball and, you know, because if not, I don't know what their quarterback. I mean, Jesse Levis, I mean, they have been Levis. Did I just call him? Wasn't that the
Jesse
backup
Levis?
catcher? That was the backup catcher. Wasn't it the backup catcher for the Brewers like in 1992? Will Levis. He has just been so bad at protecting the ball. If he protects the ball, I mean, they have the best defense right now in the NFL. So I think it could look a lot like that Jets win over the Patriots, assuming Jordan Love doesn't play. I think it could be just a 20-6 type game where the Titans win convincingly.
Do you think that plays into them not playing Love? The fact that their defense is so good?
I think it's a grinded out game on the road that is a really tough game for him to come back for. And I think what plays more into it is that they won last week. I think if they had lost last week at 0-2, I think Jordan may have overruled the staff and been like, I got to get back in here because I don't want this thing to be 0-3, because 0-3 is really, really tough to come back from. But the fact that the offense looked great and they moved the ball and all that, I think that gives him the ability to try to get a little healthier.
By the way, Jesse Levis was a Brewers catcher from 1996 to 1998 and came back in 2001. So Craig was right.
I'm telling you, I'm in the Brewers spirit, and I'm pulling Brewers backup catchers that from literally when I moved to Wisconsin, he was their backup catcher in 1997.
Craig, you're still a fraud, though. Because if the Brewers are playing the evil empire, you're going with the evil empire.
Dude, Chewy, how have you not understood this by now?
Because
what do I root with? Yeah, right.
You
know
can't
me.
flip a switch.
No, you know me. Who do I root for when the Bears play the Packers?
Whatever company brings you the most money.
Right. So when the Brewers play the Yankees, who am I going to be rooting for?
Well, I would think that ESPN New York is a little bigger than ESPN Milwaukee.
We don't have the Yankees rights.
We don't have the Yankee rights.
We don't have the Yankees rights. The Brewers are as important as any franchise. The Brewers, Lakers, and Bears are the three most important franchises that we have in this company. So there is no doubt I will be rooting for the Brewers.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, my daughter thinks I'm the biggest sellout in America. She wears her Aaron Judge jersey, and I'm rooting for the Brewers.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest sellout in the country is probably Chewy. He's the biggest front-running Jesse known to mankind.
Oh, okay. Context?
What do you mean? Like, you just decided that when the Patriots lost in the Super Bowl, you're like, nah, I'm a Giants fan.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I am a fair weather fan.
Yeah.
You're now watching your college because they're good.
They're really good. Still don't buy a shirt.
Do they invite you back and have you on the sidelines and stuff? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, they want me to pay for it. I ain't doing that.
Oh, okay.
Am I right?
Craig, he won't go
No,
up to
you should
Lambeau.
go back. You'd have so much fun. No, I think BC would be different for him. I think because he's been to Lambeau so many times at this point. So I could understand him saying all right, I've been there, done that 50 times. How many BC games have you actually gone back to since you're out of the NFL?
One.
Can I set the over-under? Oh, I wanted to set an over-under.
One.
The over-under was going to be 0.5.
Because they inducted me in the Hall of Fame, and they paid for it.
When did you leave the game?
When did I leave Boston College?
No, when did you leave the one game you went to?
Oh, they were playing. Who the hell were they playing? University of New Hampshire. Probably. Because they had to trot us off at halftime. So right when I was trotted off the field, I'm out of there.
You walked out of the tunnel and right out of the stadium.
Yeah, it's not, 28,000 people at a game. Not the greatest atmosphere in football, Craig.
By the way, how about the Packers takeaways this year? That's the one thing I think we have to think about going into this game, is you have a quarterback in Tennessee who is so prone to the turnover. It seems like he can't even help himself. And then you have a Packers defense that has been more opportunistic than any that we've seen in a long time. So I think that sets the stance.
You're just doing that to code over the run defense and
exactly
in the sacks.
That's where I'm conflicted because the run defense is
porous.
It's not very good, but now they're getting the turnovers, and that's important. It's conflicting to try to figure out how well this defense has actually played in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I think it's what everyone asks for, though, right? Like, they're like, just make a play. I don't care if you give up. Like, in the NFL, you're going to give up yards. Just make a play. And this defense has made plays, like, as much as any in the NFL, and that's just what I just don't know enough about. My buddy, the backup catcher from the Brewers in 1997, is if he'll be able to play disciplined enough on Sunday, because this defense has shown if you give them the chance, they'll take it away. But I even in that scenario, I just worry like that they could turn those into 7, right? Like if they don't have Jordan Love against this Tennessee defense, the defenses in the NFL seem better this year.
But Craig, would you agree with me here? I love the back end of the defense. I think it's in top 10, maybe even top 5, but the front 7 is very average.
Yeah, but they don't have Derrick Henry anymore, right? So this isn't like previous year Tennessee where they're just going to like destroy you in that way.
Yeah, but they still
Tony
have
Pollard
some.
doesn't scare me.
Well, what about who's the receiver from Arizona?
Hopkins.
He's very good, and their other guy's good too.
He's not good anymore. He's injured.
DeAndre?
Yeah.
So who are you taking? So Craig,
there's just not much there. I'm taking the Titans, assuming Jordan Love doesn't play, and I just think their defense is that good, and it's like a tough road game. Like we saw the Jets pull it out, but that's because of Aaron Rodgers like pulled it out because like he's Aaron and he knew how to make the smart plays. Like when he made them, and he checked down a million times and was really smart to beat the Titans. And I don't think you could expect Willis and his fifth start ever to play at Aaron Rodgers level.
Levis.
Craig, appreciate the time, buddy. Enjoy what should be a fun sports weekend.
All right, if you see Jesse Levis in the parking lot there, Gabe, say hi to him.
I'll make sure I get him I'll get an autograph for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Change the way you do business and take more control of the payment process with Fifth Third Bank's Treasury Management Solutions. Their market expertise and managed services streamline the entire payment process and integrate with your existing systems, giving you more control than ever. With their suite of payment solutions, you will soon recognize new revenue sources that can save time, offset operating costs, and improve the bottom line, all customized for your business. Fifth Third Bank, they pay attention to the little details. Look, my guy Aaron was the guy who delivered the game ball a couple of nights ago here at American Family Field, meticulously placing that ball on the rubber, giving the classy tip of the cap as he went back into the stands as well. They pay attention to the details. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Landworks is the locally owned landscape company to elevate the look of your home or business. Landworks is different because of customer service. From the crew to the salesperson to the admin team, you're in good hands with Landworks. Their sales and design teams are made up of horticulturists, licensed landscape architects, and passionate plant people. Their landscape architects and horticulture team members are also project managers. This means you'll have a single point of contact from initial design through completion of work. See their amazing work for yourself at landworkswisconsin.com.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play, like Bear Dynasty interior paint, their most durable one-coat hide paint ever. From a team color statement wall to a fan cave, complete with a mural honoring Nick Saban's 17-year dynasty.
Hey, I like that idea.
Nothing beats Bear Dynasty interior paint. It's everything you need all in one can.
Defend your game time with Bear and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Valid only when tended to colors from the Bear Dynasty and Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Color Collection.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards golf lessons to become a scratch golfer. Progressive cannot guarantee that you will ever become a scratch golfer. Scratch golfers are really, really good. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, and sure, you could put that money towards lessons, but if you can't hit the broadside of a barn and think you're going to become a scratch golfer, you're delusional. Sorry, just telling it like it is. Savings? Maybe. Scratch golfer? Don't hold your breath. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. It's universally accepted that golf is hard. Progressive cannot guarantee improved performance on the course.
When you're on a business trip, you know what goes completely off the rails? Your workout routine, especially when you book a hotel that doesn't have a gym. So what ends up happening is you do a few push-ups and sit-ups in your room, run around the block, or just skip it entirely. Lame. If you just stay at La Quinta by Wyndham, you'll discover there's a fully equipped fitness center at every location. Now you can wake up and power your buys and tries the right way or de-stress with some cardio. The choice is yours. Tonight, La Quinta, tomorrow you shine. Book direct at lq.com.
Are you ready to unleash the beast? Monster Energy is here to give you the edge this college tailgate season. Loaded with bold flavors, our powerful blend gives you the energy you need to push you beyond your limits. Tune in all season long with Monster, the energy drink of ESPN Radio College Football Tour. Power your performance with a drink that's as hungry for victory as you are. Crack open an ice-cold Monster and dominate your competition. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Grab yours today.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Marquette High junior running back Tommy Devontae. In last Friday night's game against Germantown, the Hilltoppers were trailing late in the second quarter. When Devontae started to turn things around, it ended up being a 30-0 run for the Hilltoppers to end the game. 3 touchdowns later for Devontae, and it's a 36-10 Hilltoppers win. The star running back for the defending champions has 10 touchdowns already on the season, which is a statewide lead. It's not just the gridiron, though, that you see the junior starting to get his stride. Devontae is also on the varsity basketball team for the Hilltoppers. Congratulations to this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Tommy Devontae from Marquette University High School.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Excuse me. Hold on. Getting choked up over it. So, hold on. Give me a moment.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Doesn't matter what age you are, low testosterone can be an issue with any guy. That's where Mentality comes in. Local healthcare facility specifically dedicated to helping men feel and perform at their very best. Mentality can help you if you're tired, groggy, you just don't feel like yourself. Those could be signs of low testosterone. I thought it was kind of the process of, okay, I'm getting older, this is the way it works. And you know what? It doesn't have to be that way. Because with Mentality, they can get your testosterone levels where they need to be. You can compete at work and sports like you did years ago. It's really worked for me when I have those long days. I've got the energy to attack my day, and you can too with Mentality. Make sure you check them out. LowTUSA.com. Mentality allows treatment to fit into every guy's lifestyle. Learn more about Mentality and their low testosterone treatments. LowTUSA.com. Brats in the morning. I was just delivered a brat, Chewy, as we are hanging out at the Brewers drive-through tailgate. Fans have an opportunity to get a QR code to give them access to get playoff tickets before they go on sale to the general public at 10 a.m. this morning. They're handing out brats, T-shirts, flags, the whole 9 yards. Robin Yount is here. Mentioned Tarek Saleh. I see Donald Driver over there. Pat Murphy going to be joining us here shortly. You are missing out, big guy. This is cool.
What do you put on your brat?
Typically it's just a little bit of mustard. If I can find some stadium sauce because I'm at AmFam Field, I'm going to put some secret stadium sauce on.
No kraut?
It's mustard and kraut.
Yeah, Joshy. Yeah, all the
out
way.
on kraut. Out on kraut.
All day. As a German, you're out on kraut? Turn your card in now.
All right, fine. I will. I don't care. Pat Murphy, Brewers manager, joining us next in 2 minutes. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
An accident on 94 eastbound, technically on the 35th Street off-ramp, still being worked on. Just be careful with that. Delays from 76th through the Stadium Interchange. Westbound on 94, slowing from 25th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. We've got southbound 43 slowing down a bit from Hampton to Capitol Drive. Northbound's nice and clear for the most part. Maybe a quick tap of the brakes past Fond du Lac Avenue. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Decreasing clouds, becoming sunny, warm, high of 84. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 60 at the lakefront, 55 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher, and summer is here. But if you want your parking lots and asphalt to be ready for winter, you have to remember the 3 R's from Johnson & Sons Paving. Reseal every 2 to 3 years. Repair when you see signs of cracking or potholes. And replace if there's constant standing water, buckling, or sinking. Don't scare customers or tenants away because of a bad parking lot. Connect with Johnson & Sons today before minor repairs end up being huge headaches. Schedule an appointment at johnsonsonspaving.com.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman here for Carbless, my go-to drink this summer. Handcrafted right here in Wisconsin, Carbless is a ready-to-drink vodka and tequila cocktail. Perfect for hanging out on the patio by the grill, chilling on the lake, or tailgating at the Brewers game. Plus, it's got 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, and just 100 calories. All summer, make sure you're following Carbless on Instagram at Drink Carbless for your chance to win a Summer Bliss prize package. Find Carbless online and at retailers near you. Carbless. Liss is more.
Hi, this is Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio. You're listening to ESPN Milwaukee 94.5 WKTI HD.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Well, I mean, they got to make a decision. They're going to do what they did in spring training. They're going to reach down and say, look, screw all that.
Hanging, breaking ball, lifted out to left. Going back on it is Marsh at the track, at the wall. We are tied.
When you get to this time in your life, your existence, to be laying on a champagne-soaked carpet is the top dog. That's it. That's the best. And the right-hander deals again. This one is hit to right in the corner. It is a fair ball. This is going to be at least 2. It could be 3. The throw. He's in there.
We've established the winning culture here. I think it's pretty evident.
And a base hit into right. That's your ball game. And the night the Brewers clinch the National League Central, they walk off the Philadelphia Phillies. My goodness, these guys are so
party till midnight. And then remember, you've got to decide, make the choice that you're going to believe that there's a reason this group ended up first place, wire to wire.
From the Brewers drive-through tailgates, the parking lots at American Family Field, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, joined by the manager of your Milwaukee Brewers, Pat Murphy. Pat, thanks so much for the time, bud.
It's my pleasure, man. It's my pleasure to be here. It's great to see all these fans come out. It's kind of amazing, to be quite honest with you.
A year ago today, do you think you'd be sitting in a parking lot celebrating another Brewers playoff appearance?
I don't think that far ahead. But, hey, man, I'm pretty confident that the Brewers have just done a great job of bringing in the right people. You know, it's not just about our experience or talent. It's just the right people, and I love this group. This is a group that, against all odds, they rise to the occasion. So that's been fun.
Coach, we had Robin on earlier in the show, and I asked him a question. I said, how important is it to get that bye in the first round? And I was kind of surprised by his answer. He said, not at all.
Right.
He said, baseball is meant to be played every day. Do you share that same sentiment?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there. I mean, the first blush is you want to get as high in the seeding as you can because it is advantageous. You don't play as many games. Not as many things have to go right. And with our young team and our inexperience and the injuries we've endured and the people we're going to be missing for the playoffs, I mean, yeah, less games would be better, but at the same time, Robin is exactly right. This game's played every day. Our guys get in a rhythm, and when you get in that right rhythm, you know, good things happen.
I know there's a big gap between college baseball and Major League Baseball, but because of the success that you had at the collegiate level, you mentioned how young you are. Do you think that has really helped you kind of connect and help this team grow?
I'm not sure. You know, I'm not sure what I've done, but I know you know, I dealt with college guys for a lot of years, but I've been out of the college game since 2009 was the last season. So, you know, that's 15 years doing this. And, yeah, I mean, I think it's just about people. You know, like some of us relate to younger people, some of us don't. I don't know that I do, to be quite honest with you. They drive me freaking crazy, if you want to be honest with you, their mindset. But, I mean, everybody relates to love, you know what I mean? And everybody relates to things like that. And I think we just respect them, you love them, and then you're tough on them, and you let them know the truth. You speak the truth to them, and who cares if they like you? I got one of these newfangled phones, you know what I mean? I got a whole bunch of contacts. I don't need any more contacts in there, you know what I mean? I don't need friends. And it's like, let's just tell them the truth. And I think they respond to that because it's about their career. And these young guys have just been amazing. And our older leadership group, Yelich and Miley and Willie Adames and Freddie Peralta, those guys, they're at the core of this whole thing. They've created that culture that is really special.
Coach, I come from a football background, and I'll go back to '93.
Me too.
When
he can't. I'll be honest with you, Pat. Like he can't. I try to explain to him like a baseball mentality versus football mentality. He just gets lost.
Yeah, I do get lost.
He just can't quite figure it out.
That's all right.
So, Coach, I go back to '93, and you always hear in the NFL how the game speeds up in the playoffs. And I can tell you, as a young player, you don't really believe it until you get into it, and then you realize, it really does speed up. In baseball, do you have to convey anything to the younger players, the difference between the regular season and the playoffs?
I think you let their fellow teammates do that. You know what I mean? The guys that have been there. And I think you refer to, hey, how to create the poise that you need, how to control your emotions, how to control your breathing, how to understand that it is just the same game. Having more at stake doesn't mean you have to try to do more. I think when you just talk about it and relate to it, heart to heart, I think that helps. If you try to force feed something, it comes off as non-genuine, and like, hey, they're trying real hard to force something. I think you let it happen a little bit. And our older guys, they'll be in there talking to our guys, and I think that'll be a real key.
Pat, certainly appreciate the time. I know you're a busy man this morning. Go grab yourself a breakfast brat and, keep handing out those flags to everybody.
I appreciate it, man. Great. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Pat Murphy, Brewers manager, joining us here, all part of the Brewers tailgates that's going on here. The drive-through tailgate opportunity with the QR code to get access to season to tickets for the playoffs and the first couple of games there. Again, like I said, they're handing out the brat. I've got mine here. I'm going to be eating soon here. Little breakfast brat, T-shirts, flags, the whole 9 yards. They've got a DJ out here, Chew. So many cool things that are happening.
Sounds like a party.
Yeah, it is a party, man. It is an absolute party.
Well, I was surprised, Gabe, because I did do a quick drive-by. And I figured before, on the way down, I'm like, all right, 25 cars, 30 cars. That line was wrapped all around the stadium. I mean, people are excited, and they should be.
They absolutely should be so excited. Sorry, I just got distracted because Pat Murphy was walking away and he was talking to Ashton, and he thinks he knows me from somewhere, but he's not sure where.
Hey, Chew. I'm going to interrupt you for a second. Thanks, buddy. So Pat, when he was leaving, he just looked at me. He's like, "Do I know him from somewhere?" Like, I don't know, Pat. Maybe. I mean, he's obviously a rock star on the air. He played, level 3 college baseball, so probably you know him. He's like, "I swear I know this guy. I must have recruited him or something." I'm
really?
Like,
wow, that's crazy.
I said, come back and find out. I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. I wish I was recruited to Arizona State. That would have been
Arizona State. Great.
Arizona State, slightly different than Platteville.
I was going to wait to ask Joshy during the break, but what's his football background? I had no idea.
I mean, look at
him. I don't know. He probably just played football in high school. I don't know.
Looks like a linebacker.
Yeah, he's
okay.
Still put together, man. But yeah, he's trying to figure out where he knows me.
He's trying to start conversations. I'm like, he's telling me. He goes, no, I know him from somewhere. I'm like, I don't know how you know him, but I wish I knew also. I wish I could help you right now.
I wish I knew.
I want to run through a wall for that guy after that.
Yeah, no, it is an absolute scene out here, Chew. I'm so glad that the city is just getting behind this team. And hopefully everybody shows it. Because Murph had talked about it, Chew, and I'm sure you can talk about it too. Like, I feel the crowds during a regular season versus a postseason game are different too. And Murph has talked about how this team is fed off of really good crowds. So, whether they're in the wild card round, whether they're in the divisional round, having, a great crowd, a great loud crowd just kind of gives you that energy in a game, right?
Well, you know what? They kind of put I don't know if it's nerves, but they put me at ease a little bit and I think the fans are sitting there eyeballing this potential buy so much, and to hear Robin and Coach say, you know what, it's not a really big deal. I feel better. Do you?
You know what? I do. Like, again, with Robin Yount, like, when a baseball Hall of Famer and the best player in the history of a franchise goes, yeah, it's not that big of a deal if you get the buy or not. That does put me at ease. That's like, honestly, Chew, like, because of his backgrounds and his bona fides.
Yeah,
I'm going to buy into that the same way I buy into the way you talk about Doug Peterson, and I just parrot everything you say about Doug anytime I do a national show and talk about the Jaguars.
Well, it's different in football. Me and Josh, you were talking about it during the break, where you fight to get that bye. Mm-hmm. And the reason you fight to get that bye is the week off, and it gives you a chance to heal up as much as you can in that week. But knowing, Gabe, that when you do come out after a week off, there's going to be some rust, and you're going to start out slow. But I will take starting out slow over a good week of rest at that point in the season. And with baseball players, that really doesn't seem to matter. They just want to stay in their routine and rhythm and continue to play and continue to be sharp.
Yeah, because it's not as physically taxing, obviously, as football is. Not to say you're not going to have fatigue after a 6-month season, but it's about just kind of staying in that rhythm routine and trying to stay mentally sharp. Because I'm kind of floating in and out, not having to worry about anything for a week. Yeah, you're putting in the work, but it's different than staying sharp because you're playing in a 3-game series.
Yeah, I just think it's the fear of you lose and you're out. And I think it's compounded in football because it's only one game.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of 3 or 7 or whatever it is. You always have a chance to come back and right the wrong.
Jason Wilde going to give us the latest on the green and gold as they get ready for their game in Tennessee against the Titans this weekend. Jason joins us next, but I do want to tell you about our friends at the Wisconsin Country Club. Join me out at the Wisconsin Country Club. No assessments ever, no food and beverage minimums, which are obviously great things when you're talking about a club. I enjoy being out there because I love the golf course. I love the range. I love the practice facility. I was just out there. Didn't have time to go out and play around yesterday, but I still wanted to hit some balls. We've got our Ryder Cup event happening out there this weekend, so I wanted to make sure I was sharp. Great practice facility, so I'm able to work on my game. But maybe you're looking for more than just golf out of a club. Don't worry, with the Wisconsin Country Club, we have pool, tennis, pickleball, themed Sunday fun days at the pool. So many great things happening. So join us. Find out more at thewisconsincountryclub.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
An accident on 94 eastbound, technically on the 35th Street off-ramp, still being worked on. Just be careful with that. Delays from 76th through the Stadium interchange. Westbound on 94, slowing from 25th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. We've got southbound 43 slowing down a bit from Hampton to Capitol Drive. Northbound's nice and clear for the most part. Maybe a quick tap of the brakes past Fond du Lac Avenue. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, decreasing clouds, becoming sunny, warm, high of 84. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 60 at the lakefront, 55 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
They say seeing is believing. And when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Jen Latta here from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I have told you about the delicious pizza you can find at Proof Pizza inside St. Kate. Now there's even more to be excited about with new sandwiches on the menu. Available every day from 11 to 4, you can enjoy options like the turkey pesto, the meatball hero, the Italian hoagie, and more. Skip the same old lunch at your desk and grab a delicious sandwich from Proof instead. Order inside the restaurant or directly from the bar at St. Kate. Explore the new sandwiches and the rest of the menu at proofpizzamke.com.
Time is running out on the Brewers regular season. Hurry up and catch the crew battle the Diamondbacks September 20th through the 22nd for College Night and a Brewers Puppy Vest giveaway on the 21st. Get your seats now at brewers.com/tickets.
Hear that? The soothing sounds of a bubble bath. And if you were here, you'd smell a single cedar leaf candle. But you're not here. Because your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive. So if you ride, get back on the road and enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance from Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. And then take a shower, because it's fast, like your motorcycle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Roadside assistance may require comprehensive coverage. Not available in all states.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to now.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Ready, down, put.
All Packers, all the time.
He was a field tilting player, and the reason why Gabe and many others are so concerned is that this guy's on the field, he changes the offensive dynamic. They are a different offense when he is there.
Okay, most of the time.
You know, Homer calls Matt LaFleur soft all the time. Matt LaFleur is like Vince Lombardi compared to me.
It's Jason Wilde on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
He is our teammate. He is Jason Wilde. He joins us 3 times a week here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. The ultimate Dude Friday, as I'm hanging out at the parking lot, American Family Field, for the Brewers drive-through tailgate, where fans have the opportunity to get a QR code to give them early access to postseason tickets, which go on sale at 10 a.m. today. Good morning, Jason.
Is Bernie with you?
No. So actually, Bernie is the one mascot I don't think I've seen. I've seen the racing sausages. Roscoe, the Admirals mascot, sat down next to me. We've had Pat Murphy on. We've talked with Robin Yount. I have not seen Bernie. That is the one missing mascot.
You talked with Robin Yount?
Yeah, that's how the day started today. Yeah, that's how the show started.
Jeez.
Little jealousy?
No, not a little. A lot. He's been on our show a couple of times, but he is like obviously just a bit outside the movie that Kelly Call helped produce, and he's my guy. Like, he's the one guy that I just grew up, and he was just my absolute hero. And so the times that I've gotten to talk to him, it's a little surreal because you talk to him like a regular dude, right? Like on a Dude Friday, and yet you also kind of feel like, okay, I can't believe I'm talking to this guy. So you try to be cool and you try to seem like you're not awestruck. And I don't think I am anymore, but it's still hard. Like, especially after I watched the movie, like, you forget how nostalgic you are and how much that team meant to not just me, but everybody growing up in Milwaukee at that time.
All right, Jason, help me out here. I'm a little confused. Matter of fact,
that's not new.
I'm very confused. How does Jordan Love is out there practicing, be it limited, and the line go up in favor of Tennessee?
Is he limited? That's the first I've heard of it. God, I'm so annoyed by that whole thing. Because look, to me, I don't understand that either. I guess maybe it's because the folks that set those lines for recreation purposes only don't believe that he's playing, right? That, the way the Packers have handled this in the unconvincing manner that they have pitched this limited line. I mean, it's so bad that when somebody asked LaFleur yesterday if Jordan was expected to practice today, he said, I don't know, we're taking it day by day, but I'm sure he'll be limited. Good one, Matt. But like, to me, the biggest thing and the reason why, if I was involved in setting the line, that I would maybe do what they're doing is that if you thought he was playing, you wouldn't be talking this way. And it feels to me like they are intentionally hiding the fact that he's not doing team. That's my opinion. I don't have any evidence of that. Obviously, reporters are not allowed. They get kicked out of practice before the team periods start. So I don't have any evidence that I can use to back that up. But other than my spidey sense, which is if he was taking team, you would tell us, well, he's taking a few team reps. We're working through it, and we got to get Malik ready just in case. So he hasn't gotten his full complement of team reps. That's why he's listed as limited. I'm sick of this spiel, and I think I think Rob would tell you too that just because maybe last week wasn't a quote unquote charade doesn't mean that he's going to play this week. I still think he's a week away.
Well, so do you think that's what we're going to go through? He'll be limited today, he listed as questionable today, downgraded to doubtful tomorrow, and then not play on Sunday. Is that the same game plan we're going to follow?
I think so. But again, I don't want to be like Mr. Know-It-All who is just dismissive of the idea of him playing, because then I'm not doing my job either. I just keep going back to, people that would have a pretty good idea of what the plan is, saying from the very beginning that he wasn't going to play in the next two games, and then that they were hoping that would be the Minnesota game. So, he's missed one game. He certainly is making progress, the fact that he's able to be out there. But we did talk to Tom Clements yesterday, and again, there's part of me that does enjoy the cat and mouse game of trying to come up with ways to ask questions that maybe can get me some nugget of intel that makes me feel like, okay, they're kind of showing their hand a little bit here, right? And I thought in talking to Tom Clements, about the challenges of getting Malik Willis ready and how important it is for him to get team snaps, it's Friday now, right? Like, it's Friday morning, and there's only a finite number of team snaps. And so you've got two guys that both need them. I don't care what you say about, Jordan's been in the system, and he's been here for 5 years, plus. So he's been here for all of LaFleur's tenure. He knows the offense. In order to be able to play, he has to be able to, as we've heard many times, protect himself. And to me, that means being able to move in and out of the pocket more than anything else. And you can do some simulating drill work when you're doing footwork drills and stuff like that. But the bottom line is, it's not the same as reacting to a pass rush. And even if you're doing it with him wearing a red jersey in 11-on-11, that's a closer approximation to what he's going to have to do on Sunday than just going through drills where he's throwing routes on air and there's no rush whatsoever. So, again, he needed that work. I don't know if he's gotten it. And we all know that Malik Willis needs absolutely every snap he can get so he can be ready. So it's just, I do think that there's a charade aspect to it, even though that was a really good word by Rob earlier in the week.
Jason, who's been better at right guard, Ryan or Morgan?
Well, I'm not a connoisseur of offensive line play. I leave that to Brian Bulaga and the worldwide traveler that I normally do the show with. But I would say this. I think Sean Ryan is, and I'm not comparing him. Let me be very clear. Unlike the Tucker Kraft to Mark Chmura comparison, which continues to gain momentum and continues to be more and more accurate for all you jerks that made fun of me for saying it. I mean, they can't, just a quick aside, they cannot stop talking about how far Tucker Kraft has come. Like, you played at a low-level school like BC. He played at a low-level school like South Dakota State. And he was not, like, the fact that he had to make that jump, and obviously you played at major college football. I'm not
don't go that far.
Well, maybe not major. But the fact that he really had a long way to go as a blocker, and he's traversed that distance, and now he's clearly better than Luke Musgrave is in that area, and that's why he, even when Musgrave played more against Indianapolis, Tucker Kraft still played 25 snaps more than he played. and they did a lot of two tight ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so how far he's come and the completeness of his game, the comparison to you is apt. Now, the comparison that I am not making, but the kind of stylistic comparison that maybe is accurate when it comes to Sean Ryan is Marco Rivera,
Okay. All right,
who was a badass from Brooklyn who you did not want to mess with. One of my favorite. I don't know how I acquired this, but I have a signed 8x10 by Marco. I didn't ask him to sign it. I think I got it like a Goodwill, and it's a photo of a Tampa Bay Buccaneers player lying on the ground, and Marco has his hand. He's standing over him, and he has his hand in like the player's chest/throat area, which I'm sure he loved signing when somebody gave it to him. Like, oh yeah, it's me. But Sean Ryan's got a little bit of that, right? Like he's a tough guy, and he's really physical. He maybe isn't always the best technician, but the biggest thing with him, and I did ask LaFleur about this, is has he answered the bell enough from a conditioning standpoint that he can play every snap? Because remember, he got called out publicly by the head coach for not being in good enough condition. And if you're in a job sharing program, you have time to recover. If your guy that you're sharing the job with gets injured and now you got to play all the snaps, are you capable of handling that? And LaFleur did suggest that everything is on the table. That's what he said. So maybe he job shares with Jacob Monk if they don't feel like he can handle, playing 65, 70 snaps if that's what they end up playing.
God, I got a great Marco story.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, it's epic. Can
Okay,
I
go
tell
for
it?
Ju. Yes.
So Jason,
Absolutely.
Super Bowl 30.
Since when do you ask for permission to tell a story?
Jason, Super Bowl 32. You were there, right?
I was, indeed.
So this is earlier in the week, and we're staying at Torrey Pines.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get in trouble, but I don't care. It's Friday.
That's
so,
my guy.
Jason, we go out, and, we like to have fun. So
I've heard that about you.
We got
just hearing that for the first time.
We got a little pickled, and Marco got more than a little pickled. So we go back to the hotel to make curfew, and Marco, let's just say, starts running down the hallway in his underwear back and forth, right? He wasn't in his underwear. And Fritz Shermer's wife pops her head out and goes, oh. Marco had no idea what he's doing. So Marco goes to bed, forgets it. We tell him the next morning. We go back up after breakfast. Marco is doing confession with Father Jim sitting on the bed. And Marco looked so disparaged. It was priceless.
Bless me, Father, for I ran up and down the hallway naked
in my birthday
at the hotel.
suit. Oh, I can still picture it in my head. It was beautiful.
Well, now I'm going to have to text Marco.
Ask him how many Our Fathers he had to say.
That's what I will ask him.
Jason, what have you seen that you've liked from the defense, and what needs to improve after 2 weeks?
So, Gabe, I know you're a national radio host. You got a ton of things on your plate, so you don't have time to listen to all of the press conferences that we have with the assistant coaches. But yesterday, Jeff Hafley talked, and I did, I think, and obviously Anthony Richardson had his troubles, but I did see improvement from week 1 to week 2. But the guy that, I don't want to be mean, and I want to give him a fair shake. So I am holding off on joining the group of fans that seem to be out with pitchforks and torches about Quay Walker. And so I tried to ask the question of Jeff Hafley in a positive way, which was, Jeff, where do you feel Quay Walker is right now in your defense as compared to where he could end up, right? Because that implies that, he had those 2 blow-bys where he basically, one he ran into a block, the other one he took a circuitous route and ended up being taken out of the play. And I think one was a 17-yard run by Taylor, the other was an 18-yard run by Taylor. He drops an interception. takes a bad angle on Richardson on that fourth down run that he had late in the game. And so I wanted him to kind of address how he's playing without sounding like, well, this guy sucks, because I know there are those that feel that way. And I'll tell you what, Jeff Hafley, Rob and I were talking about it, his answers start out a little defensive all the time. He's a really defensive coordinator. And his response was, it's not where he could be, what he could be in this defense. It's what he's going to be in this defense. And he gave the most full-throated, strong defense of Quay Walker that he possibly could have given. And now I'm eager to see if by the end of the season he's proven right, because I still have my skepticism about whether or not he's going to be a difference maker. Can he be a serviceable linebacker? Sure. Do they maybe need to switch him and Isaiah McDuffie and change the roles so he's outside and he's flowing from side to side? I don't know. I'll leave that to Chewy. But the bottom line is he's in his third year. He's in a new system. But I want a guy who's a first-round pick, just like A.J. Hawk had to deal with, even worse because he was a fifth overall pick. I want that guy to be a field tilter. And is Quay Walker a field tilter right now? No, he's not. No. So that, to me, that's the thing that piqued my interest the most about this defense.
But Jason, it's totally fair. This front seven has given up 5.1 yards per carry, and they have 2 sacks, and 1 was a gift. So the front seven is, through 2 games, has been very average. Would you agree?
Yeah, and look, Hafley's argument is that, they face 2 mobile quarterbacks, so they haven't rushed the quarterback the way they normally would. And I kind of want to say, yeah, but to varying degrees, don't all quarterbacks play that way now? Yeah. Like, certainly not to the level of Jalen Hurts, right? But, then they were saying, well, Will Levis can get out and run. Okay, so at what point are we going to get to, Sam Darnold next week? Is he a guy that's enough of a primarily pocket passer that you can really get after the quarterback? Because their pressure numbers and their sack numbers aren't good enough. They just aren't. And whether or not there's a reason for that, I get it. But, again, that's where you affect the quarterback, and all the other things that you want to do defensively come from that.
Jason, we appreciate the time. We appreciate you shifting your time as well, so we could accommodate Robin Yount coming on the show earlier today.
There aren't many people that I would do that for, but there's no doubt he's one of them.
Appreciate you, Jason. Look forward to everything you guys have to say coming up in 30 minutes on Wilde and Tausch.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
There's going to be a lot of good sports this weekend, whether you're kicking back, watching baseball, whether you're going to be watching the college football, pro football, and nothing goes better with sports than pizza. You're going to be sitting watching all these games. You're going to want something that tastes great, and that's where Palermo's comes in, whether we're talking about Palermo's, Urban Pie, Connie's, Surfer Boy Pizza, Screamin' Sicilian, all of those part of the Palermo's family of brands. You are going to find a slice that fits your appetite. And how is Palermo's able to do this? They're able to have that many brands, and they all taste great. Yeah, they've been doing this for 60 years right here in Wisconsin, right here in Milwaukee. So, of course, they know premium frozen pizza. Find them in your grocer's frozen food aisle. Palermo's. Flavor is our family's business.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink.
Starting to see some improvement out on the roads. Westbound 94 is a little bit tight from 27th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound, they're still working on this accident on the 35th Street off-ramp. Watch out for that. Otherwise, the westbound side of 894, seeing a little bit of a backup from Loomis all the way to 68th. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, decreasing clouds, becoming sunny, warm, a high of 84. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 60 at the lakefront, 55 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Since its beginnings, the Heart of Canal Street program has donated more than $21 million to hundreds of local children's charities. This year, Potawatomi Casino Hotel is continuing the tradition. Hey, it's Jen Latta, and here with me today is Sarah Neubauer from Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Sarah, can you tell us about what Heart of Canal Street is, especially for our listeners that have never heard of it?
Absolutely. So Heart of Canal Street is Potawatomi Casino Hotel's signature giving program. So each year, hundreds of local children's charities apply for a chance at winning thousands of dollars to help their missions. And a unique aspect of our program is that there is a random drawing to decide which charities win. So as long as the charities meet the criteria listed on the application, they are entered for the random drawing.
How many charities could get randomly chosen to win?
This year, we will be giving away a total of $500,000 to 30 different charities. And we chose 30 winners because this year is Heart of Canal Street's 30th anniversary.
What an incredible run. Is there a way for guests to take part in Heart of Canal Street?
Yes. Now through December 17th, we invite you to share your heart simply by playing the Heart of Canal Street bingo game at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. When you play this special game, you help raise funds to give away to children's charities. So grab a group of friends or coworkers and come out and play bingo.
And you can find the bingo schedule listed on Potawatomi's website, so make sure you check that out. Another unique program happening at Potawatomi is our new radio show called The Weekly Wager. It's a weekly betting show taking place at the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Yes, and we're so happy to have you, Ben Bruss, and Greg Matzik live and in person at the Sportsbook every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. It's the perfect group of people and so fun to listen to.
It has been so fun watching games differently from that betting perspective and saying, ooh, I really think that listeners and folks at Potawatomi can make some money if they follow our advice. Where can everyone go to learn more?
Paysbig.com.
Always paysbig.com. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
How would you like to own a jewelry store?
Kessler's Diamonds is an employee-owned company.
And Kessler's is growing. Are you the kind of person we're looking for?
Does it make you happy to make other people happy?
Are you a problem solver?
Would you like to wake up every morning knowing that you're going to help a lot of people find joy today?
Kessler's Diamonds is people serving people.
Keep in mind that Kessler's is owned by its employees. So let me ask you this. Are you a good enough leader that you can be an owner who leads other owners?
Don't worry, you don't have to know about diamonds. We can teach you about diamonds. But the people we're looking for aren't looking for a job.
Did someone pop into your head just now?
Do you think you might know who we're looking for?
Give that person a call.
Send them an email.
Tell them to walk into Kessler's Diamonds and say to the person who greets them,
I think I want to work here.
Welcome to Kessler's.
A fantastic place to buy jewelry and a wonderful place to work.
For the store nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
His eyeball.
Wait. Where
do I get him?
I just assumed when I said wait, did you just think it was just a suggestion?
Yeah, pretty much. Typically.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Maybe we're just trying too hard when really it's closer than.
Relive the greatest postseason run in Milwaukee Bucks history with the Bucks in 6 podcast. Bucks in 6 presents a special series commemorating the Bucks title run from 2021. From the thrilling 7-game series against the Nets to the 50-piece Giannis dropped in the finals, immerse yourself in the sounds of each playoff round. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. Find it now at bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts. We're hoping to get a memorable postseason run from the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm hanging out at the Brewers drive-through tailgates, where people have been driving through all day to get brats, to get flags that you can put on your car. So many cool things happening here at the ballpark and inside the parking lot at American Family Field Chew. And I have been told that the way they were tracking on how many people have come through, now they don't know how many they have left, but they prepared 5,000 brats.
Wow.
So, again, this thing is coming to an end here at 9 o'clock. So in 23 minutes here, it's going to be ending. And I see the line is finally starting to die down here at AmFam Field. But 5,000 brats is what they were expecting. So if we get a final tally on that before the end of the show, I'll update you on that. But we were just talking with Jason Wilde. And do you have a different prediction for the Packers if Jordan Love plays or if Malik Willis plays?
Yeah, and I sent it in to Maddie. I'm surprised I haven't, well, maybe I have gotten grief, but I just haven't looked yet. And my prediction was, with Jordan Love, they win 24-10. Without Jordan Love, they lose 17-14 in overtime.
That's right.
Going back to the well?
I'm
going to hit
overtime
it.
well.
You know? I'm going to hit it one of these weeks. I I didn't realize, Gabe, I did not realize that Tennessee is the number one defense in the league right now.
They've played some really good defense. Their biggest issue has been the turnovers by Will Lewis.
But you know what? I mean, you think he's on a short leash? Because they do have Mason Rudolph. Does Mason Rudolph give them a better chance to win than Will Levis?
I think it's about the same. I mean, Mason Rudolph maybe takes care of the ball more, but I mean, they have to give Levis an opportunity to play and grow. Although after what happened in Carolina, who knows what these NFL teams are thinking anymore in terms of when they're going to pull these young quarterbacks.
His coach did say he needs to be an adult because he's made the same mistake twice with throwing the ball while falling to the ground. So it seems like they're putting the pressure on him there.
Like, who has a better offense? I mean, you could say Tennessee obviously has a better defense statistically than Green Bay right now.
So if Jordan Love's playing, it's not even
No. I'm saying with Willis.
Plays.
I'm saying with Willis.
With Willis, I'm still going to say Green Bay because I think Josh Jacobs becomes the best offensive player for any team. That's for either team.
I wonder what the I mean, I'm sure there is a prop bet on Jacobs' yards this week. What do you think it would be? 120?
It was like 75.
75?
Yeah,
I can tell you this. I can tell you this. Not with absolute certainty, but if it's 75, they're not winning the game.
What if it's 75 and Jordan plays?
Then they're winning the game.
Okay. But if it's 75 with Malik Willis, they're not winning the game.
No, just with the familiarity that Tennessee is going to have with him. I have a tough time. I mean, Josh Jacobs, I think, would have to rush for 130 where I'd be careful, where I'd be comfortable saying, okay, it's going to be a tight one, but I think they can win.
To put it in context, the average number most running backs get is in the 75 range. You don't really predict for 100 yards in like the gambling props world. But I do agree with your sentiment that it needs to be well over 100 to win without Jordan.
Are we underselling Tennessee?
Maybe.
Again, I think their defense is really good, but I mean, because it's not just that Will Levis is turning over the football, it's the way in which he's doing it. You know, like just falling to the ground.
Yeah, stupid stuff. It kind of reminds you of Brett, early on.
Yeah.
Just kind of a little too gunslinger-ish.
And to that point, Drew, because those two turnovers were the pick six he threw against the Bears, which lost them the game, and then it wasn't an interception. It turned out to be a fumble because as he was going down, he tried to underhand and throw it behind him to Tony Pollard last week. They were in the red zone. They were knocking on the door, potentially getting points. In both of those games ended up being decided by 7, so both of those crucial turnovers. So if he takes care of the ball a little bit and just, takes the sack instead of trying to desperately get something flung out there, this is probably going to be a tight game. And the one thing I am watching, because I have been concerned about the run defense all year. And if we want to say, but Saquon Barkley's a top 5 back. Yeah, but Jonathan Taylor's a top 5 back. If Tony Pollard rushes for over 100 yards this week, Jeff Hafley's going to have some splaining to do. Because Tony Pollard's not what he was 2 years ago in Dallas. He wasn't what he was 2 years ago in Dallas last year in Dallas. Like, he's an average running back, and if he's able to go up over 100 yards to help out his quarterback in this game, I'm going to be very concerned about the future of this defense.
But what happened to the, stop the run on the way to the quarterback? I mean, he did say that earlier in training camp, didn't he?
Yep, he did. He did. That's kind of their way that they want to stop, the run, and it just hasn't worked. They neither of those things have worked, too. They haven't gotten the quarterback. And I guess, Josh, because you have been one of these guys that's defended, well, they're kind of doing the mush rush. They want to keep the quarterback in front of them. Like, does that go out the window? Do they need to have sacks this week?
Oh, yeah. You need to see probably 2 sacks and, like, more consistent pressure. The Tennessee Titans right tackle is a fantasy analyst, and he's given up a bunch of sacks already this season. So Rashawn Gary needs to shine against that guy.
But Will Levis, I mean, I mean, he's not Lamar Jackson, but he's a big kid that can run. I mean, he has some aspects of Allen in Buffalo.
I would compare his rushing similar to Jordan's. That's not their preferred style,
Sure.
but they will run and they have no problem getting yards with their legs. But it is vastly different from the other guys. Like, those guys are threats to run, and they will turn even like a 10-yard gain into much more. Will Levis is what it is. You pin your ears back and you get after him.
Yeah.
Because we've seen how he operates in chaos, and that's very poorly.
Well, how do you guys see this game playing out? Let's say if Jordan doesn't play.
So if Jordan doesn't play, I'm nervous. The Packers, even with Will Levis, I think have the better team. I feel better about them winning this week, but it's going to have to be. You're going to grind it out again. I don't see them scoring 28 points. If they can get to 20 this week, winning 20-16. Winning 20-17, something like that, if it's Willis. I mean, if Jordan plays, I feel a lot better. Just like you said yesterday, Chu, even if they're just running their basic stuff with Jordan Love, I feel light years better because you can at least push the ball down the field.
What's your gut telling you about Love, though? He's not going to play.
He's not playing. I don't think he's playing. I don't think he's playing.
I think they can add a wrinkle to this offense by using Malik's legs more, and there is added risks to that, but some of those designed carries, he's fast. He can run.
He is, Josh, but here's the problem, I guess, is because they're not going to let him run wild this week. There's going to be an extra guy in the box.
Yeah.
Who's probably going to turn into a spy.
No, I agree. I just think that they kind of unloaded. Like, I don't know how much more orbit motion and stuff you can do in, like, the strict run game they have.
Yeah.
The Packers had motion on, like, every run play except for 2 or 3. I think you can use more Jaden Reed in those like tunnel bubble screens and more of that like reverse type stuff. But I think if you want to win and you're going to score points, you need Malik Willis to be upwards of 75 rushing yards.
Really?
I just think it adds a new dimension.
Okay. I mean, I'd like to see them air it out a little more than they did last week.
Yeah.
Try to get Watson involved to soften them up.
I said this on the pregame show. I thought that Jaden Reed was going to have like 12 touches.
I did
and I
too.
thought that's what they needed. I thought that's what they needed to win. Not just necessarily runs, Chew, but just like those quick throws to the outside, because that's a way to get him the ball in space, and it's just an extension of the running game. I'm guessing you probably see more of that, especially if they're stacking the box. You try to throw the ball out wide quickly, and if he's got one blocker and then he's one-on-one with somebody, maybe he makes that miss and turns it into a 10-plus yard gain.
I'd bet they had more planned for Jaden Reed, but when running right at them worked for 250 yards, you're kind of like, well, why get
when
cute?
it worked for 50 straight plays.
Save it for next week.
Yeah, let's not bother.
Because how many jet sweeps? I remember the one to Melton where he really got nothing. He got stuffed.
Yeah. Reed had like a 30-yarder right out to start the game there in one of the first 2 drives. But I think he only had 2 or 3 carries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he only had 2. And I thought, my guess is Jaden Reed is going to have to be more involved, especially because, I mean, not that Marshawn Lloyd was big last week, but if you want to run the ball as much as they did, and I doubt, again, that they get to 50 carries, but if you want to run it 35 to 40 times, you're not going to give it to Josh Jacobs 30-plus times back-to-back weeks. Maybe he gets 20, 25 carries,
and
but you're going to need those carries to go somewhere.
My guess, Gabe, that was not the game plan. It didn't become the game plan until they were gashing him with the run, So LaFleur probably has a handful of plays in the kiddies that he thought he had to run last week, that he didn't, that he's probably saving for this week. So, you know what? If Love isn't playing, this is another game where LaFleur's got to have a great game plan in order for them to score points and win the game.
If LaFleur's walking into Hafley's office going, how many points do I need to score this week? What's the answer Hafley's giving him?
17-20.
Okay.
20 to 17 would be my guess.
All right. Yeah, that's because I think that comes down to it. I'm just there shouldn't be anything about this Tennessee offense that really scares me, and I don't think that there is. Which is, if somebody goes off, then that's what's going to raise, to me at least, the questions going
forward. But it's a little different here now, Gabe, because you're on the road. You're on the road at a place where you had been for the last 3 weeks, and reports from Coach down there. My oldest said it's going to be a hot pot.
You're waiting to give us the coach scouting report until 12 minutes before the week is over?
Well, I just asked him on weather. I said, how hot's it going to be? He said, they're saying 90s in a hot pot.
I do like you going to your sources on weather with a weather app right on your phone.
I don't trust the weather. I need boots on the ground. I need boots on the ground like my buddy.
Where do you think he got the weather report from?
Well, good point. Like my buddy, yeah, right, yesterday. And I don't know if he's trying to bail on the Greece trip, but we're going with a couple from Florida who says, there's supposed to be a hurricane hitting here on Wednesday. I can't find evidence of a hurricane anywhere, and he did buy the insurance on the trip. So I don't know if he's trying to bail.
Well, I mean, if you need someone to go to Greece with you, big guy, I mean, I'll bite the bullet. I'll sacrifice.
Yeah, that's right. You've been there before. You could be our little tour guide.
Greece is fantastic. I think, especially once you get out to the islands, you and Angie are really going to love it. I guarantee it.
I'm excited.
All I'm seeing right now is a tropical depression, approximately 420 miles from Busan, South Korea.
Is he bailing?
It sounds like a bail.
Kind of sounds like he's bailing. And as an expert bailer, Chew,
yes, I know.
You sniffed out the bail right away.
And you know what this guy's nickname is?
What is it?
Angry.
Creative.
Hey, sometimes nicknames just need to be shortened to the point, Josh.
Exactly.
Shortened to the point. Tune in to Thanalysis Show each and every week. It's presented by Gruber Law Offices. Thanasis Antetokounmpo hangs out with special guests for fun and even surprising conversation. Maybe it's his live show with Giannis, a chat with Green Bay quarterback Jordan Love, getting the inside scoop on fighting with Logan Paul, or any one of TA's unique guests. Find Thanalysis Show on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Plus, you can subscribe to Thanalysis Show on YouTube to see exclusive video content from Thanasis. Thanalysis Show, presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Looking for a totally rad flavor adventure, brochachos? Look no further than Surfer Boy Pizza, as seen in Stranger Things. Each mouth-watering variety contains rich tomato sauce, delicious mozzarella cheese, and a gnarly range of toppings. The crust is crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. You'll think it was hand-tossed by the Surfer Boy Pizza dudes themselves. Look for it in the freezer aisle at your local store and buckle up your taste buds with Surfer Boy Pizza.
Gear up for October baseball. Brewers postseason tickets go on sale on September 20th. Clear your schedule, claim your spot, and be here for a Brewers postseason run you don't want to miss at Brewers.com.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real-person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and camera control for easy access. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and camera control for easy access. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Hey football fans, with BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Football fans, tailgating season is here. There's no better way to celebrate football being back than with Boda Box Wine. Boda Box is giving away tickets to 2 separate winners for a VIP Green Bay game day and tailgate party experience for the November 24th game against San Francisco. Fans, enter by scanning the QR code posted at participating Boda Box retailers in Wisconsin through October 30th. Winners will be announced on November the 1st. Please drink responsibly. Must be 21 years or older to enter. Boda Box Vineyards, Manteca, California. Visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com for more details.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
What do we do? Where do we go from here?
We've talked about insulation, we've talked about fantasy camp, and now we've talked about Burning Man. We've hit for the cycle in the first 5 minutes of the show.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Love rolling into the weekend with this song. Tailgate is wrapping down, the drive-through tailgate for the Brewers, celebrating being in the postseason once again. Playoff tickets on sale at 10 a.m., but if you came through and got your QR code, you could get them before the general public is able to in about an hour. I do see the Barrelman, and I do see finally Bernie Brewer. Said I didn't see him earlier. Now I see him hanging out here with all the racing sausages as the final few cars make their way through.
You think Bernie's a little bit of a diva since he kind of runs the show around there?
What? I mean, he got to sleep in?
Yeah, a little high on his horse as the top guy.
I mean, but he is like the smallest of the mascots because I mean the racing sausages just tower over him.
Yeah, I guess it does make sense. Huh? Interesting. I'd like to get to know Bernie.
He used to be my son's gym teacher.
Whoa.
I don't know if he still is, but he used to be this is 10 years ago?
Did he have the kids running laps in his outfit?
I can't remember if he was the one that called because my son decided to wear a Speedo at swim class. And
What's wrong with wearing a Speedo at swim class?
That's what I said. He really didn't care for my reaction because I basically said, and?
Yeah, I guess he's covered, right? What's the big deal?
Yeah. I mean, he wore a swimsuit for swim class. Like,
He's confident in his body, kind of like his old man. Not as confident as Marco, but there is some confidence.
The confidence that you have in your body to wear a Speedo, like there's only 2 reasons to wear a Speedo. One, you're a 10 out of 10 in the terms of confidence in your body, or you lost a bet.
Or you're from Canada.
Those are the only... What do you mean?
Canadians wear?
From Canada.
You didn't know? Every vacation I go on, Canadian, Speedo.
I
they
thought
wear
that was
Speedos.
European.
They don't wear anything.
Wait, so you're going to go to Greece... And if you see someone in a Speedo on the beach, you're just going to assume that they're Canadian?
Not there, but if you go to Mexico or the Caribbean, there's a good chance that they're Canadian.
When I say Speedo, I think like Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Or a bodybuilder or something like that.
A guy that's got his skin looks near leather because they just spend time.
They sit out there
on the coast all day.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't think I could wear a Speedo.
I was about to ask, have you ever worn a Speedo?
No. But I remember my one idiot son, you've seen Borat, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, of course.
Decided to walk out in the Borat suit at the lake and just got the point. I said, go back in the house now. We're not doing that. He seriously had the Borat little, what do they call that thing? The slingshot or whatever?
Oh, yeah, the banana hammock?
Yeah, it is. That leaves very little to the imagination.
They know the point.
Well, Hopefully the Packers aren't getting the point. Hopefully the Packers are getting a win. Hopefully the Brewers are getting more wins. Thanks to the Brewers. Thanks to Robin Yount. Thanks to Pat Murphy for having us out here for the drive-through tailgate. Wildy and Tausch coming up next.
Wrapping things up with a vehicle fire on the off-ramp to 60th Street from 894 westbound. Watch out for the delays heading out of the 27th Street area to that point. Westbound on 94, a little bit backed up from 35th Street just past Mitchell Boulevard. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Decreasing clouds, becoming sunny, warm, a high of 84. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 60 at the lakefront, 55 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Laws.